Coach, glad to get that, the non-conference game, but how do you regroup now facing going back to the conference?
We're not. You know, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's a game that against a very good basketball team that we didn't perform well in. Our focus is on our league. We spent more time today talking about the positive things of Cleveland State and then the positive things of this week that's ahead of us with Wright State and Detroit.
Coach, what are some of those positives that you talked about?
Our good execution down the stretch, you know, things that we did well. You know, the Akron game will be a good precursor for Wright State because they're both very physical man-to-man teams. I think I think there's positive things that came out of it that'll help us in terms of our execution against you know, a team that I think's you know, they're coming off holding UIC, which is, you know, considered to be one of the better offensive teams. They held them to, what was it, 30? What was it? 31. So, I mean, you know, you're looking at, if there was ever a good game for us, and this is how we've kind of taken the high road with it, if there's ever a good game for us, you know, to get ready for a really tough defensive team like in Wright State is probably an equally good team in Akron defensively. So, you know, we looked at making our corrections and knowing that if we would have made our foul shots and made a couple more shots, we could have won the basketball game. So it's not a gloom time for us for sure.
How big a deal is it that you played as well as you did against Wright State down there? How might that impact you have?
Well, you know, Jim, that's a good question. I think you know, I told our kids today that you're going to have their attention. You know, you're not going to come in against Wright State and like surprise them. You know, when you play somebody on their floor as tight as we played them, you know, they're coming in here with respect for you. So you better be able to match that intensity and match that kind of effort that you know that they're going to be, you know, that they're going to give. And this thing really is wide open. Obviously, Butler's kind of ran away with that one spot, but you know that 4, 5, and 6 spot gets a home playoff game, and you know the 2 spot gets automatic ride to the semifinals. So there's a lot of basketball out there to be played. Now that now we're in a situation that you're meeting everybody for the second time around.
Jerry, are they playing their best basketball of the season? They're coming in. It seems like on a roll a little bit.
You know, I mean, Dane, I think that they have played extremely well at home. They've had a lot of home games here during this stretch. They're a very good basketball team. I think the thing that makes them so dangerous is that they're always good defensively, and they've kind of caught themselves a little bit on the offensive uptick right now. They're starting to shoot the ball a little bit better. That's a team. If they're shooting the ball good, they can win it all. I mean, you know, they're so good at the defensive end. They start making some shots. They can put a stretch together and win it. So, we have a lot of respect for them. We've had some great games with them over the last 3 years. We beat them here 2 years ago, and last year we lost on the last second shot. Obviously lost down there on the last second shot. So we know that we've got our hands full.
Coach, what did your performance against Cleveland State mean to the program as far as attendance, confidence, and just the all-around atmosphere surrounding this program?
It was tremendous. I mean, it was the ESPN people thought it was tremendous. We've heard nothing but just a lot of really great things. I had 10 messages from phone and email from people across the country, a bunch of YSU alums that have called back and say how proud they were to see that game on national television in front of a packed house. It was a staple win for us in terms of saying to our conference that you need to get us back on that schedule to be able to put a foot forward like we did. I don't think there's any team in our conference that could put on a better show than what we put on that night. From our marketing people to get the crowd here, And then the credit to the basketball kids for putting on a great basketball show too. It was a fun and a tremendous night for our program.
How valuable is something like that in your recruiting effort?
You know, Jim, from Friday night to Sunday evening, you know, I made about 12 recruiting calls. You know, and they all had, you know, they all got recruiting calls and last week saying to watch us and that we were on, and then a ton more after the win. So you know, it was. I had a really good time. I had a really good time Saturday and Sunday making those calls.
Were you fortunate enough to have any of those kids here to witness it?
No, but 4 of them T-voted it. I mean, that's, you know, that's, you know, 4 of them said, hey, you know, Coach, I watched it, but I T-voted so I could watch it again. All that stuff's important stuff when you're trying to turn a program and trying to build something special, which I think we can do here. Has it gone fast enough? It hasn't.
Jared, with Wright State being the first team, I think that you play in the second half of the season, do you guys look at it that way, that it's now the second half of the season?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're going to have to adjust. You know, we're looking at film. They're looking at film. They're looking at what was successful first time around. They're looking at you. You know, we're looking at them. You know, what did we do well against them? What worked? What didn't work? And then that's the chess match of basketball. You know, you're making adjustments at the half, and now your second time around, you know, they're going to try to take whatever player. And we guys, we try to get that to across to our kids, and we haven't done a good enough job. I think that's part of our inconsistent play from an individual standpoint with our kids. You know, all of our games in our league are on the internet, so every coach gets to watch every game you play. So if you're a player and you have a really good game on last Thursday and Saturday, you know, they're all sitting around trying to stop what you're trying to do. And I thought we did that against Akron. Kids that had really good games against Kent, we did a pretty good job on. It was the other guys that hurt us.
Let me ask the question again in a different way. I mean, as a coaching staff, do you, approaching the second half of the season, do you, like, say we're 0-0 to new season?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, you know, we're in 7th place right now, and you know, fighting to, you know, climb up that ladder. You know, try to get a home playoff game. You know, again, contrary to, you know, what people may think, you know, very positive, you know, very, you know, growing. I think we're getting better. I think guys are playing better basketball. You know, we don't try to, you know, focus on the negative as much as people might focus on. You know, we look at, try to find the positive and build off of that.
Coach, do you feel your team's deep enough that when teams do ISO in on, say, Martin or Lyles, and say these are the guys that really burned Cleveland State, next time around if they focus on those guys, that you're deep enough to be able to overcome that?
Well, I mean, I hope so. I mean, you know, we've had a lot of different guys lead us in scoring over the course of this year. I think our most consistent player of the year so far is going to be Andre. I think Dee's had a really, you know, really solid last 3 weeks, and we've got to get some guys. I mean, you know, if you were to look at this year compared to my other 3 years here, you know, there's been a lot of lineup changes. And in my first couple of years, you know, we were pretty much locked in. Now, I think that speaks well of the fact that we have more depth, and I think that speaks well of the inconsistency of our play at times. So, you know, we're going to, you know, keep on trying to search for guys that can play good on certain nights, and you know, I think that's been a positive for us, and I think that's also been a detriment.